SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia gets going on Monday as Greg Sankey, of course, will be the first to speak. He will address everyone in the big room. Then, guys, it shakes out like this. Brian Kelly of LSU, Shane Beamer of South Carolina, Lane Kiffin of Ole Miss, and Clark Lee of Vandy on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we got Hugh Freeze of Auburn, Kirby Smart of Georgia, Josh Heupel of Tennessee, and Steve Sarkisian of Texas. On Wednesday, we've got Kalen DeBoer of Alabama, Jeff Levy of Mississippi State, Billy Napier of Florida, and Brent Venables of Oklahoma. And on Thursday, we've got Mark Stoops of Kentucky, Eli Drinkwitz of Mizzou, Sam Pittman of Arkansas, and Mike Elko of Texas A&M. Guys, I don't know if y'all noticed this, by the way, but I was looking back because I kind of used the template of last year's notes from that show for this show. I didn't realize how similar they keep the schedule. You realize Monday's schedule of coaches, the exact same as last year. I just thought that was kind of interesting. There's a lot of these coaches, they're speaking like at the exact same times, exact same days. Either way, looking at the schedule of coaches speaking, guys, I will say, I think Tuesday is going to be a pretty electric day with Hugh Freeze, Kirby Smart, Heupel, and Steve Sarkisian. I mean, there's big storylines for every day, but that's probably the one I look at and circle that one. I think probably the most fun day. I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, but that was the one that I was like, man, there's going to be a lot of chirping that day. So
to me, it was either day one or day two. I'd agree with you, CP.
Hey, listen, hearing from Sankey right now with the state of college football will be interesting as well. I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about.
I think day two is really interesting because of the storylines with the coaches. You got Kirby coming off of winning an SEC title, but it felt like that was his best coaching job in a while. What does this roster look like? You no longer have a quarterback in Knoxville that you were banking your entire offense to be around, and you bring in Joey Aguilar, so Heupel having to answer those questions. Hugh Freeze spending a lot of money in the offseason. Auburn going big into the portal, top 10 recruiting class once again, but underwhelming results. And then Steve Sarkisian, it's Texas. Like, it's Texas. What's going to happen this year now that they're fully indoctrinated into the SEC? They've had an entire year to kind of get used to the scheduling, and they still have a very easy, relaxed schedule in terms of most other teams in the conference, but it's Arch Manning mania, and Arch is going to be there too. Like, that's the other thing, is that it's a front and center stage to go ahead and see Arch take on actual QB1. Like, I think that makes it more exciting when you throw in the player aspect of it as well.
I mean, Cole, you also mentioned too, or forgot to mention, Hugh Freeze and his golf game. That'll be a big topic of conversation.
Somebody's going to ask him about it. Somebody's going to ask him what he gets.
I mean, if it's
Screams
not me,
Chris Marler.
I was going to say, if it's not me, did I even do my job being there? But you're right. That is a Marler-esque question. With all due respect, much love to Marler. Guys, you mentioned storylines, so let's get right into that. Top storylines heading into next week's SEC Media Days. And again, we all know this, right, from last year. And I mean, if you've been watching this event for any amount of time, we get really excited for it, as we should. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of great conversation, the unofficial kickoff to college football season. But you've really got to try to read between the lines, right? As the years go on, everybody gets better at coach speak, and players get better at speaking to the media. And, you know, it feels like the days of the zingers are less and less and less. But still, there are big-time storylines going in. Dave, I want to start with you. What's the big storyline in your mind going into SEC Media Days?
CP, I think you segue right in perfect into my answer here, and you didn't even know what my answer was going to be. You talked about Greg Sankey. I think it's Greg Sankey, kind of just today's atmosphere, environment of college football. Like, it's a little bit of a Cold War, a little bit going out there. It's like, this is his one time a year. He really gets to go take the podium at his own event. And he usually gives good tidbits. He gives usually a direction where they're going. He's a pretty upfront guy. So I think, honestly, that's why I would lean first day. I mean, I agree with you. If you just said by coaches, I think day two. I agree with you. But I think he just gives more. Again, most of this stuff's coach speak, player speak, and stuff like that. Again, you usually get some decent nuggets every now and then. But hell, we even talked about our reaction videos to him last year. Kind of like, well, man, I feel like we're stretching, kind of reading between the lines. It's more and more of that every year. But I really think you get real true. Not saying it's not fair to the other coaches too. They give some good meat and potato stuff too. But Greg Sankey is like, all right, a few times you get to listen to him here actually get on a podium and address and kind of control the narrative. And he's kind of the face of the sport right now. So I'm actually interested in Greg Sankey because, I mean, it's ever-evolving current of college football. So I'm going to go Greg Sankey. I get excited to hear the commish every year.
Lane's going to run his mouth. Lane always does. He's going to say something. It's going to piss off people. It's going to get a lot of clicks. I wonder what it is. I genuinely do. Is it going to be about how look, I know I messed up last year. Oh, guess what? We can sit here and cry about it, or I can go.
He tweets at Hugh Freeze every day now.
Or could I ask for more money from the boosters like Hugh Freeze?
Or tags him on Instagram.
Could he be doing something like that? Could he take a shot at Texas Tech and say, listen, I get it. If I was out in Lubbock, Texas too, I would probably be asking somebody to save me from building this roster and sell this program to the idea. Like, he's going to make a comment because that's just Lane. Lane every single year finds a way to still get that zinger. It is very much like thinking of not Gen Z, because if it's not Gen Z, but also it's Gen Z version of Steve Spurrier, where it's way more PC. It's way more, I would say, not as what you would think is controversial circa 2025, but it still is going to perk up your ears and be like, oh, okay, I think I heard that. And then Eli Drinkwitz is going to come in here and he's going to have chest puffed out, talking all about how, oh, look at us, just little old Missouri, just finding a way to get done. And he's going to brag and he's going to brash. And his shoe game is going to be elite because it always is elite. He has the best Air Force Ones every single year. They're custom made for this event. And he's going to be able to, I think, come away feeling like, listen, I may be like the guy standing on the 9th place podium, spraying champagne on myself and acting like that I did something really cool. But he's also going to realize I don't really care what anybody else says. We're Missouri. We're going to do it our way anyways.
Guys, I'd probably say my top storyline going in, and this is a little bit low-hanging fruit, but I mean, it is what it is. We've got 11 quarterbacks that are going to be at this event, and I don't know what's more notable, the ones that will be there, maybe some of the schools that didn't bring their quarterbacks, but it feels like to me, and I've been saying this really probably since January when we started to look ahead way too early, but it's the year of the new signal caller for so many contenders. Like, I just can't remember a year where so many of these top teams and teams we're picking to be top teams are being led by, even if it's guys that have played in years past or have hype, it's kind of these first year guys, or at least first full year being QB1s. And even just some of the young quarterbacks that are really talented. I mean, how about Gunnar Stockton coming to media days? That was something. I mean, that was something that definitely caught my eye.
Like Kirby's really pushing him.
Right. I mean, because it was like Kirby's leaving no doubt. He's leaving no doubt. This is my guy.
There, and it's like, dude, it's not over yet. But it's kind of like Kirby keeps pushing that narrative. He is the guy.
Like that. That was really notable. I mean, Austin Simmons is coming. I mean, Arch Manning's going to be there, like Cole just said. Obviously, Garrett Nussmeier, he's not a new guy, but he's going to be there as well.
Taylor Green's
Ty
there.
Simpson's one that didn't get brought. That's kind of interesting, right? So I just the conversation around these new quarterbacks and leading into that too, a storyline just for me is like, who is going to be that surprise team? Because it's not an if, it's a who it's going to be, and trying to kind of one of the, and I think for the common fan, maybe you guys out there listening don't get this as much, because one of the most exciting parts of SEC Media Days, and Dave is going to figure this out. Cole probably already know this, but he'll figure it out if he hasn't. One of the best parts about it from our perspective, it's not even getting to hear from the coaches and the players. It's getting to talk to the local media that cover the teams.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are really going to give you the tea, and they know the warts of these teams. And they know the good, the bad, the ugly. They may tell you some things that, maybe some of the coaches won't necessarily go into great detail over. So learning more about these teams from some of the local folks that cover them, maybe there's some things. It just seems like there's always some stuff you uncover that's behind the scenes that you're not quite as familiar with going in. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the signal callers. Like you mentioned, the players that are going to show up, because you can always get really good tidbits from them. And I feel like they reveal a little bit more at times than some of the head coaches are willing to do so. So I think that'll be interesting for sure.
Who's the player you're most excited to hear from?
I mean, I don't want to steal your answer, Cole, because I feel like
you won't, I promise.
Okay, because I was going to say Diego Pavia.
I'm not going to be there for him. I won't get there in time.
Oh, see, then it's Diego Pavia for me. I mean, he's an electric factory. I mean, he's a lightning rod, dude. He never bites his tongue. I mean, he's already going on a podcast this offseason, essentially saying, like, we're making it, and I'm paraphrasing very badly, but essentially, what did he say? Like, Tennessee's going to run through Vandy. We're
going to run the state of Tennessee.
We're going to run the state of Tennessee. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're taking over. We're going to run the state of Tennessee. Like, he just does not care, dude. So he's probably the guy. I mean, him, and then of course I think Arch Manning's the dude we all want to hear from. Just how is he handling the media, handling the spotlight? And I think he will handle it well. But Heck, I mean, I think Gunnar Stockton too. Although I've talked to some Georgia folks, they said he might have the record for shortest answers ever at an SEC Media Days by a player. Not really a long-winded guy. So, yeah. Who's it for you?
Mine's DJ Lagway, because we haven't seen him. Remember, he was dealing with the shoulder injury throughout the entire offseason. I want to hear what he has to say. What's been the prognosis? How has he felt since getting back into a rehab assignment? What has he been able to build with these young other receivers like Vernell Brown, Nashawn Montgomery? You also throw in Dallas Wilson. I want to hear about, what were some things last year that he really liked about the offense because of, again, it's Billy's offense. And that was a major selling point for him to go to Florida to begin with. And there were moments that he stood up and looked the part. And there were moments where, again, he still felt like a freshman, and not having a spring and being limited in a spring and on a pitch count, that's a little worrisome. I want to feel confident going into the early stages of fall camp that this is a guy I can buy stock into. He's fully healthy. And then any offensive lineman, for some reason, they give the best answers because they're unfiltered. Like, they're not sitting here like trying to go ahead and be all political.
How often do they get behind the mic is the question, too.
Well, you got like 11 dudes that are offensive linemen at this year's SEC Media Days. Caden Proctor's going to be there. Slaughter's going to be there. Reed Adams from A&M's going to be there. They want to also defend their quarterbacks like as much as humanly possible. And like, dude, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. You guys are idiots thinking that our quarterback's not good. Like, they're very aggressive. I like those answers because those are the ones that, like, I think speak of the volume of what the camaraderie of the roster is. When you have a quarterback, like when you have an offensive lineman that's like, yeah, it's been a good offseason, man. Life is good. It's like, I don't buy into it. When I feel like that tension, the way, like when Will Campbell didn't even know who his quarterback was with Drake May and said, I will block for him like he is my own son. It's like, oh, he's going to run through a wall for you. Like, I want that feel from all these offensive linemen.
Dave, player, coach, you're most excited to hear speak?
I mean, coach for me, it's got to be Hugh Freeze.
I'm the same.
Players, you can group all the quarterbacks in together. Yeah, I mean, I stole your answer. I won't be long with that. I think the guy recently, as of recent, he has more questions to answer with their current NIL state, him and John Cohen. Just heading into a big offseason, Hugh Freeze usually kind of avoids blame. Like, I mean, we saw it every week on a Monday, Tuesday press conference after games last year. He would throw, not after games, going into the week, he would throw Peyton Thorne passive-aggressively, a little under the bus at times. He doesn't really like to take responsibility, and I know people will ask him hard questions this week. He's someone I think that's the easy answer. It's what it's got to be. Sark isn't a real answer guy. Like, he doesn't give a whole lot. Like, he doesn't. Like, Hugh Freeze, I mean, Lane Kiffin has some one-offs, but sometimes I feel like he comes in and takes it a little more serious some years, and then some years he doesn't. But no, I'll go coach-wise for sure. I'll go Hugh Freeze.
Freeze is going to be interesting.
I have another storyline to follow. What's going to be the feel around Oklahoma with Castiglione announcing that he's stepping down? That to me will just be interesting because I want to kind of get a gauge from the local media, how they're responding. Is there kind of a little bit of pressure now with Jim Nagy being hired? What's BV's status at this point? The timing was really interesting to me because of, yes, it was at the end of all the athletics here where every team was kind of done playing, but it was also right before SEC Media Days. I feel like that's just a little bit.
Those ADs don't have as much power anymore, Bear.
Right. But it's just like, I would like to know what kind of the direction is. Is there kind of a feel of some gauge that we feel like we know who's the guy in waiting? When are we going to see the black smoke come out of Norman Memorial Stadium? It's like, hey, here's the successor. Because Joe Castiglione, for my money, was one of the best athletic directors in the last 27 years when you look at his entirety throughout college athletics. Not Mal Moore, maybe not even Greg Byrne. Greg Byrne has been not Mal Moore level, but I think that
you're saying Castiglione is better than Mal Moore?
No, I think Mal Moore.
I would say Mal Moore made some bad hires outside of Nick Saban.
Right, but
I think Castiglione was probably a better overall AD than Mal Moore was. RIP.
I think that Castiglione has been one of the best athletic directors in the last four decades because he also has opened up so much for other sports. He put such an emphasis on getting softball back on track. He was always caring about baseball. He always had a standard for basketball. It was not just a football school with him. And I think that was such a big selling point. And it's such a Big deal. He for me right now is still a top 5 AD in the sport.
How much do we think the conversation is around house settlement and revenue sharing versus actual on-field football?
I think that'll be a lot of the coaches' talks because, again, these coaches don't really want to answer a lot of these questions. Let's be honest, they don't know a lot of the answers to their own team. They don't. Like, Lane Kiffin knows about as much as us three do about his own secondary. No, I think that'll be a lot. It'll be interesting to see kind of who comes up there kind of complaining, who goes out there just with the old shucks attitude. I don't know. That kind of comes off as Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby was very short last year, very to the – I don't know. That would definitely be a point. Like, I think Kirby will give a very good answer on that.
Kirby's one I'll say I'm always excited to hear speak because he's a guy that will make you want to run through a brick wall talking football. That's just a guy that he oozes. He loves football.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
Yeah. So, guys, anything you hope to learn at Media Days? I'll ask you this. Is there anything we can learn? Because I understand, too, a lot of these prompts and everything, we do so to, for our own entertainment, for you guys' entertainment. But realistically, it feels like, again, like I mentioned, the coach speak gets better and better year after year. The players are so well media trained. Guys, can we learn anything truly at SEC Media Days? I mean, is there anything that can slip? Maybe I think Bear already said it, but do we learn more about like the status of DJ Lagway? Is there any lingering anything?
Yeah.
Would they even say that? I mean, I don't know.
I think what Bear said in regard to that would be a very good answer for this. I'm going to go what head coach seems a little checked out. Like you can always get a vibe. They know going into a year
that's a big storyline too.
If they're not going to be good, internally, so you can kind of see it like Media Days kind of going into the year. Who's kind of like, yeah, this guy's kind of a dead man walk. I mean, you saw it with Kevin Sumlin going into his last year. How I was on that staff. You see it. I mean, outside of last year, you kind of see it every year. I mean, who is it this year? Hugh Freeze? Is it Sam Pittman? Mark Stoops, I don't think, just because the whole buyout situation. But, I mean, he may seem a little checked out. I mean, he's been to a million of these things. Him and Kentucky's kind of ran its course. I'm just interested to see who's kind of a little checked out, just because we know inevitably with 0 firings last year, we're due for at least 2 this year.
I was going to say, Bear, don't you feel like I feel like that will be amongst the media there. The hot seat chatter will be a big talking point because of what Dave just said.
That was going to be for me is that hot seat. What is the actual gauge? Because there's 2 sides to think about it. There is the national perspective because of what the expectations are in Norman, what the expectations are in Gainesville, what the expectations are at other locations. And then there's the local field. And the local field usually has more of like an inside scoop on what boosters are saying, what the athletic complex believes, what are the internal expectations, what did they feel like that they upgraded at and what they didn't. So you and me and Dave may all say, hey, Brent Venables has got to do X, Y, and Z with wins to get back next year. And it may be instead, no, he's got to have a top 45 offense and a top 20 defense. He may have to make sure that he doesn't lose any recruits and that he is building towards a top 10 recruiting class. He's got to prove that he can get a few upset wins and not blow too many leads. Like that might be more so the feel for what really is the hot seat versus you got to win a certain amount of games to guarantee your job is back. And I think that's where there is the perception of national trying to get talking points out and then actual insiders or people who are boots on the ground having these internal conversations. They can tell you what it is. And I'm not saying that Brent Venables is like the only guy. Like it may be that way for Billy Napier. Billy Napier, again, last season, really hot close to the end. Got 2 big upset wins, kept teams out of the college football playoff. Is he safe? Like, is he a guy that has fully gotten out of the woodwork and that he is guaranteed you get to 7-5 with this record, you're back for 2026? Like, what is the feel for him? And then also, are we overlooking the Hugh Freeze stuff?
Guys, it's going to be a fun event in Atlanta, Georgia, like I've mentioned so many times every year. The unofficial kickoff to the college football season. 4 days in the A in the capital of Georgia. Cannot wait. We will be on hand, myself and Dave Shumate there every single day. Cole Thompson at some point will be there as well. Going to be a lot of fun. Again, content bleeding out of the eyeballs. It won't just be 2 shows next week with the overtime drive. we'll essentially be going live every single day, coming to you live from Atlanta, breaking down all of the action, reacting to everything on a day in, day out basis. So, guys, any closing remarks? SEC Media Days, I know we're all fired up. Anything else before we put a pin in it?
Feels earlier and earlier every year they push it. Or it feels like it's been like middle. I remember it used to be kind of later, July. But no, you're right. It's official kickoff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we have college football closer and closer back to being our television screens. That's it. Like this is the final straw for me.
I'm just glad to be back with you boys. Hey, before we get out of here, let's take a few questions because we do have some folks that dropped a few. Dave, you'll really like this one. Our friend Full Court Network, the home of college basketball, tweeted at us and said, will the SEC be as dominant in football as they were in basketball last season, asking for a friend?
No. I say I think the football is the third worst sport out of the big three right now in the SEC.
Yeah,
No.
probably not. Like from a standpoint of dominance, like how good the elite teams are, no. Like I think it'll be still a lot of parity. I think it'll still be a lot of fun.
Well, we need a SEC team to win a national championship to have any chance at that competition.
Which
that could be another storyline at Media Days. Is there an elephant in the room that is, hey, it's been back-to-back seasons with no title. So it's been a while.
Oh, I didn't even think about
Larry,
that.
you not sticking with your Penn State pick?
I didn't pick Penn State to win the national champion. Oh, wait, did I? No.
Yeah.
No, I picked Texas to win. No, I picked Texas to beat them. I had them in the national championship against Texas.
Let's say you still have time. I was just
he can change his mind, Dave. Come on,
no, I mean, I still
still early in the process.
I still think Penn State's the best team in college football going into the year, and that's that has not changed, unfortunately, and that pains me to say.